with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Hey everybody, happy Friday. You are tuned to May the Best Brand Win on Intertalk Media, the undisputed leader in music biz talk, and I am Scott, that guy he was talking about, and your host, and a man who thinks that in the morning there really shouldn't be any talky before coffee. And with me in the booth is a man who is always firmly and fully caffeinated, Paul B. What's up, Paul? How's it going?
I tend to agree with that wholeheartedly, although I'm not caffeinated enough right now. After the show's over, I'm going to run in and recaffeinate because I'm getting to the end of my uselessness. Hopefully it'll carry me through to the end of this hour, but if not, we might have problems.
You guys drink a lot of coffee down at Intertalk Radio. Yeah. I can feel it. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. That's how anything gets done.
Absolutely. And you guys are celebrating the launch of that new show with Andy Zildjian, the drummer show.
Yeah.
What's the name of that show?
Drummers High. It's
nice.
Andy Zildjian, the president of Sabian Cymbals, is the show host, and he talks to a lot of notable drummers about we're taking it away from like techniques, tips, and stuff like that. More about lifestyle, how
nice.
More personality stuff, and just how, like getting into their minds. How do you get into that zone, into that flow state that drummers can get into that
nice,
different from other musicians.
And do you have a section on there where you just do drummer jokes? Just nothing but nothing.
They kind of
5
just
minutes of drummer jokes.
Yeah. They kind of just come with the territory.
You got to do those. It's really important. Well, cool, folks. Well, you guys are smart because you are tuned into this show, which is May the Best Brand Win, and you're tuned into a good episode. This is episode 131. We're going to talk about giving customers what they really want. And but first of all, who am I? What do? I'm Scott Robertson. I run a public relations and marketing branding firm for companies in music and technology, and B2B brands. Really, any brand that needs help, that wants to do marketing in sort of a better and newish sort of way. They usually kind of find me that way. If you want to reach out and find me, you can send me an email to scott@robertsoncom, 2Ms, like communications.com, or you can you can find me on Twitter @robertsoncom, again, 2Ms, or facebook.com/robertsoncom, any of those places, or the website, www.robertsoncom.com. Again, 2M's like communications. There you go. Now, that's how you find me. I love it when people send me emails and, say, hey, I've been, listening to the show and this was great, or this really sucked, and that kind of thing. And feel free to reach out and let's engage in a dialogue. I am certainly not afraid to do that. I'm a pretty opinionated person, and lucky for me, I'm right a good lot of the time. So I feel really good about my chances of being right. So let's chat and we can talk about it. But today we're going to talk all about the customer. I know, right? It's amazing. But, at its core, marketing is pretty simple, right? You learn what customers want. You deliver it better than anybody else can in the marketplace. You build strong relationships. You keep the carousel going. You keep the relationship going, right? It's easy. But yet the marketing that we see on a daily basis isn't anything like this, right? It's dumb ads. It's robocalls, which people hate the people doing them. It's, it's telemarketing, which is one small baby step away from the hatred of robocalls. It's these terrible, awful salesy emails and pitches and just bad advertising and untargeted crap on social media and everything. I mean, why the disconnect? Why, this episode of the show is going to examine why there's such a disconnect between what should be being done in marketing and what is being done in marketing today. And of course, we're going to hit this topic along with a freshly baked batch of who's winning and losing this week on this very exciting new episode of the show here today. So I thought maybe before we get into, just to kind of prove my point, at the top of the show, we're talking here about marketing is pretty simple, and yet the marketing, I'm just going to take you on a quick tour of my inbox here, my personal Gmail inbox, no different than yours is probably, or any consumer email box is. And let's look at some of the things that some of the biggest brands in the world have decided to send me today. Let's just do today, right? And this is not set up in any way. This is exactly what is in my inbox today. I've got an email from Groupon that is advertising some men's genuine leather belts. Great. That's fine. I've got a thing from Domino's Pizza that says, satisfy your pizza craving. Large 3-topping pizzas are $7.99 each. Musician's friend, who sends me multiple emails every single day because they think that I buy that much musical gear, which isn't accurate at all. But they sent me sizzling summer clearance and open box deals. Oh my God, we've got some amazing savings to pass on to you with the clearance pricing on gear from top brands and a limited number of open box items. Shop now for the best gear at incredible prices. Now, why don't I believe that? I just don't know. Oh, here's a good one. CVS Pharmacy, the pharmacy with a heart and stuff. They sent me a buy one, get one, 50% off foot care. 50% off foot care. I can't remember, if you have foot problems, I feel for you and all, but I can't remember the last time that I bought anything related to my feet at CVS. So, and here's the thing. You're supposed to be a data-driven organization. You use data in all kinds of creepy ways. And then you send me a thing for foot care, and I don't buy foot stuff. What's the matter with you? Bed Bath & Beyond, 20% off Keurig K-Cups. Yeah, I don't buy those either. I never have bought those. This is not, targeted to me in any way. Here's my point. Of all the choices that could be being made to send something that has a message and something that is enriching and something that I want to opt into and those kind of things, none of those choices are being made. The garbage that I get is garbage, which I can only assume they believe is going to benefit them. They think is going to benefit them because there's nothing in there for me. There's no, unless my feet have problems and they haven't told me about them yet. I mean, I don't know what the hell to do with that. This is what I'm talking about. Marketing is not just a bunch of crap that you do and pretend it's marketing. There is a process. There is a strategy to doing it. There is all these things. And in today's modern age, that stuff isn't always followed very well, right? So, the people that you're trying to reach with your marketing messages out there are pretty simple creatures and yet also kind of infinitely complex creatures too. But here's what we know about people. And focus in here because this is important. This stuff that I'm saying right here is not being used at all at any time by some of the biggest brands out there. Musician's friend, turn your crap up now. Your stuff you send way too much and it's desperate sounding. It makes me want to shop somewhere else. I'm looking at Reverb now. Don't be desperate. It's annoying. Just like in dating, when you're desperate, it's annoying. Don't be desperate. Seriously. I don't know why. I don't know where that started or whatever with Musician's Friend, but they got to stop sending so many emails. All right. So people are simple creatures. Here's what we know. Human beings are out for themselves 100% of the time. Okay. That's not like, and I say this all the time. People push back on me and say, well, not my mom. She's looking out for others before she's looking out. Nothing against your mom. Nothing against your mom. This is a statement of biology. We have a thing in us, a biological survival instinct that we push out mentally to ourselves that makes us very concerned about the immediate area surrounding us. Okay? What that ends up making us is it makes us self-centered kind of creatures, right? It's like, think of it as like radar that we have adapted into every aspect of our lives, right? And I would submit to you that even though somebody is, may appear selfless, they, they're still no one gets a hall pass on this. We do things and we behave according to our own self-interest because that's how we are designed to behave. Okay. So it's like, again, it's not like Scott said that and he hates all people. Scott's just telling you the truth. The fact that people are out for themselves. And as a marketer, man, you gotta know that. You've got to understand that people do not want to look at your crap unless you make it about them in some way. Okay? I mean, I don't know. It's just, to me, that doesn't seem like the hardest concept in the world to get. I do that with with all of my clients. And I don't understand why it's not done all the time. That's what we are supposed to be doing. Understanding that and making and starting with a great message and being able to kind of do that. That's all about them. Number 2, this is really important too. Marketing cannot convince people to do anything that they do not wish to do. Okay? I'm going to repeat that because some people in marketing seem to think that marketing is more powerful than it is. Marketing cannot convince anyone to do anything that they don't already want to do. Okay? It's not mind control. It's not if you have a staunch Democrat that's like, I voted Democrat every single election or whatever, you may be the greatest marketer since P.T. Barnum lived on this earth, and you will not be able to convince that person. You don't have a prayer of being able to convince that person. Okay? It cannot convince people to do things that they do not already want to do. But, and this is the important part for marketers, when you know what they really want to do, you can align what you're trying to do with what they really want to do, and then you sort of give them permission to do what they already wanted to do anyway, right? That's the truest thing that you're ever going to hear a marketing person say right there, is the fact that you can get people to do things that they were already going to do anyway, maybe a little faster than they would have come to the conclusion on their own. But the trick is to start with what do they really want to do, and then align it with what you want them to do and try to find a connection point where those kind of circles interconnect. But again, not mind control. Very important. The next thing about people is that people will lie about their true wants and desires every single time to you as a marketer. Because if you're one of these marketers that says, we're going to do a survey. We're going to do a survey and we're going to talk about people about their true wants and desires. Human beings will never tell you their true wants and desires. The only time you're going to get true wants and desires is if somebody's really drunk. I mean, really drunk. Or if you're like, you're with somebody that you really, really trust, and it's a very kind of a deep moment, and they finally kind of reach that level where they're going to open up to you and get to that level. But nobody, aside from the drunkenness and the deep relationship, you as a marketer, as CVS trying to sell me foot care products, you're never going to get my true wants and desires. Don't survey me. I'm going to lie to you. I'm really good at lying to you. I've been doing it for a long time, my entire life, actually, so we're clear. So you can't trust that stuff. That stuff's not real. Well, those kind of marketing surveys. Well, people said that they would do this. Well, people lie. People said they'll do a lot of things, and then they don't do it. Human beings are going to they're out for themselves. They're going to do what's in their best self-interests, right? If you invite somebody to come out to your band show all the time and they say, oh, well, yeah, I'd really like to be there. I think it'd be really a lot of fun. I'd really like to be there. And they don't show up. They didn't want to be there. Are we clear on that? Is there any kind of like fogginess about the fact that if they wanted to be there, they would be there, right? Human beings we know what we want and we know how to get it, and the rest of it's just kind of bullshit, and so don't fall for it, And as a marketer, you definitely don't fall for it. So be careful of that stuff on surveys and stuff. A huge grain of salt for all of that. Now, the fourth thing that we need to keep in mind is that marketers need to make an educated guess about the target customer's real needs. Again, they're never going to tell you, but you got to make an educated guess, and you got to figure out how they align with what you're offering. And then you can make your connection that way. Let's take Apple, for example. Apple believes that its customers feel like they're pretty powerful people, right? They think that they're pretty powerful. They do a lot of powerful things. They're, powerful can mean a lot of things, but those kind of things. And then all they do is say, yeah, you're super powerful. You're amazing. You're good looking. You're fantastic. You have a great family and very few problems. And look how put together you are, and you're super powerful. But wouldn't you be just a little bit more powerful if you had this cool phone? If you had this cool computer? Could you see yourself with this, right? Could you see yourself being just a little bit more powerful with this? Doesn't that make you look a little cooler and a little bit more powerful? Apple is masterful at it. Their imagery, is so perfectly done. Their stuff is so deep and so psychological and so strong and so good that you should just study that. I mean, honest to God, they align their products in such powerful ways with what they believe most of their target audience is feeling. And they do that in a very, very powerful way. And remember all those companies I was mentioning about, on the top of the show, I'm going through my inbox. Did we see an email from Apple saying 30% off iPhones, 30% off? No, we didn't. Why? Because Apple has a story, and they make a conscious effort to say, when we communicate with you, then damn it, it's going to be worth it. And we are not going to waste your time with a bunch of crap in the meantime. I don't know why marketers don't understand that. More crap does not equal a marketing strategy. It just weakens your brand, in my opinion. Less is more. Learn from Apple. The last thing I want to say is that marketing must respect the customer's desire and right to be left alone. This goes a little bit like we're talking about with Apple, right? Apple understands that you wish to be left alone, that you don't want to hear about their products all the time. But when they have something to say, man, they say it and they hit it with a baseball bat, baby. And then when they don't have anything to say, they disappear. They're gone, right? And that's important. It's really, really important. The decisions that you make about that stuff, they respect the customer's desire and right to be left alone. If marketing could just start to do that, you can actually draw and attract more people to your brand. I think it's just this overwhelming kind of fear that we're not going to sell anything this month that drives us to some of these tactics. Big brands, too. Right now, you're listening to May the Best Brand Win on Intertalk Media. Come on back. I'm going to tell you who's winning and losing this week. We'll see you in a few.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on intertalkradio.com.
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. You are super duper duper smart because you are tuned to May the Best Brand Win on Intertalk Media, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. And I am Scott, your host. We're talking about giving customers what they want. We got Paul B hanging with us in the studio this afternoon. Paul, how's it going, man?
Oh, I'm fading fast. The running on coffee fumes, just a little bit left.
He needs more coffee. More coffee for Paul.
Who's
listening over there?
Hopefully, we could bring this home. We could land this thing.
You can land it. You can land it. Yeah. Are you done after the show today, or are you sticking to rental 5?
Probably longer than that. Nah, I got a bunch of stuff on my plate I still have to get through. I just go till I burn out, till the coffee runs out. That's pretty much it. When the coffee is out, but my kidneys aren't really up for processing anymore, that's when I know it's time to go home.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing, man. Cool. Well, let's see who's winning and losing this week. So, we got to start off with Krispy Kreme. So Krispy Kreme, which is a fine donut establishment nationwide, they have come out with 2 new Reese's Peanut Butter Cup donuts that are they just look amazing. I have not tried these yet, but they've partnered with Reese's to create a cream-filled ring donut for peanut butter enthusiasts and chocolate enthusiasts. So basically, So Krispy Kreme has this new. They have a filled chocolate lover's donut and a chocolate glazed donut that's a chocolate glazed donut with a Reese's peanut butter flavored cream, and then they have the peanut butter lover's donut, which is a chocolate original glazed donut but filled with a chocolate peanut butter cream dipped in Reese's peanut butter icing. Anyway, the whole thing is you should check it out. Is what I'll say. That's all kinds of winning. They get all kinds of great posts and great love whenever they announce these kind of things, because remember I was talking in the first thing about people do what they want and what's in their self-interest. It is very much within my self-interest to get myself a Reese's chocolate lover's donut, and it would require very little marketing for me to get what it is that I want. All they have to do is tell me, hey, we got it, we actually have this thing, so come on down and give us some money, basically that. So, it's kind of like what Seth Godin talks about when he says when the product is great and when the product is that great, good Lord, marketing takes care of itself. And marketers are like, well, that doesn't make sense. You have to market things. I mean, it doesn't make sense that that product is that good and people just find out about it. That doesn't make sense. And I'm like, in this case, it does, because you just do a little announcement with a beautiful image, and then I'm there. My first opportunity, I'm going to be going to get me one of these Reese's Peanut Butter Cup donuts, or a whole bunch of them together. Winning, all kinds of winning. Keep it up, Krispy Kreme. We love you. Instagram is in trouble for a couple of things this week. New York Post reports that they are crippling young entrepreneurs like Kylie Jenner because they're getting away from not doing any more likes. Instagram's doing away with likes. So this is a new pilot program that they launched last month in Australia. Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, Italy, Japan, and Brazil. Blah, blah, blah. So they launched it in a bunch of different markets internationally. Ensures that users can see the likes they get on a post but other users can't. So I guess if you own the feed, right, you can see how many people are liking it and that kind of thing. But everybody else can't see how many people are liking it. Now, you would think, well, that's not that big a deal, right? That's not that big a deal. But apparently there's quite a powerful negative reaction to doing this. And really, Instagram influencers are, they're worried that eliminating likes will make the posts seem less appealing and will cut into their profits because they are compensated. They are paid by how many people like and engage with their stuff, right? And so Instagram chief Adam Mosseri basically chimed in and said, we want people to worry a little bit less about how many likes they're getting on Instagram and spend more time connecting with the people they care about. All right, then. But that says nothing, by the way, to address the system that has sort of been created around their platform, where people get compensated for doing this. And anyway, that's so they're losing. They're in a lot of hot water. I encourage you to check out that story in the New York Post this week. It's kind of fascinating to look at. And then also, just on the quick subject of Instagram, they kind of have some lax privacy practices, and one of their trusted partners, check this out. Are you ready for this one? A San Francisco startup has been secretly saving what appears to be millions of Instagram's user stories and tracking their locations. The marketing firm Hyper, with the 3 where the E should be, Hyper 3R, whatever, has been scraping huge quantities of data off a Facebook-owned app and using it to build up detailed profiles of people's movements and interests. Facebook, who's paying $5 billion with a B dollars to the federal government for the Cambridge Analytica debacle, and that kind of thing, which isn't nearly as invasive as this. Instagram's now issued a Hype 3R cease and desist, kicked it off the platform, and made changes to its platform to protect the user data. So, this brings up, I mean, all kinds of losing, right? This brings up a very interesting point here, right? The fact that you have this data on a mobile device that you take with you means your location is being shared, unless you were clever enough to figure out a way to not share it. And then that data can be, put together in the creepiest of ways to develop this stalker-like profile of you and all the places you visited and all the things that you've purchased and all the things that you've liked. And then you can run that up through big data, and then they can start to kind of, creepily predict what you're going to do next. This is where your ethics and your conscience need to really take over here, to where you say, yes, the technology allows us to be able to do something like this, but we shouldn't do it because it's creepy. It's super, super creepy. And we're in the business of what class? That's right. We are building relationships. What is the number one relationship killer that you can think of in the context of this story? Yes, it is invading privacy. That's right. If it was like Family Feud, it'd be up there as the number one freaking answer. Invading privacy is the worst thing you can do if you're trying to build a relationship with someone. Okay, so trying to do this and being associated with this effort in any capacity is going to freak people out to the level in which they hate you, and they hate your brand, and they hate everything that you're associated with ever. And now they've complained about you to the FTC, and then the FTC has to show up and do something. So all kinds of bad news, right? And this happens. Remember the top of the story? This because they have lax privacy practices, and they share this information with their partners and this kind of thing. Man, technology industry, you guys got to get your head out of your butt on this. I mean, you seriously have got to start looking around and going, this is really serious relationship ending level stuff. And in Facebook's case, there's $5 billion of price tag associated with this thing, man. So it's like, you've really got to get your act a lot better, together when dealing with this. And marketers, like I said, if somebody comes to you and says, we can get all this data, that is your cue to go, we're not those people. We don't do that. We're not going to do that. You'll be better off with that decision, because later on when I report on this show about all the people who got busted for violating privacy and they went out of business and all that kind of stuff, that won't be you. See, that's how you know, right? That's how you make sure it's not you, is you don't do the stuff, and then it's not you. Moving on. Walmart is in a bit of hot water. Obviously, there, a lot of tragedies, active shooter incidents and tragic shootings have been happening at various Walmarts across the country. NPR reports today that Walmart is going to ban violent imagery, but not gun sales. So after the shooting at the Walmart in El Paso, Texas, that left 22 people dead, the company said that it would remove all signs, displays, or videos that depict violence from its stores in an internal memo. And they're taking a lot of heat because they're basically saying we're going to take out all the violent things that are being shown in our stores. And people said, well, the most violent thing in your stores are the guns that you sell. Firearms and ammo sold at just about every Walmart, pretty much, every Walmart. So they're in a lot of heat right now because they made this decision and tried to, I don't know, they're trying to do something, but they didn't make the decision that people were kind of expecting and that sort of thing. And lots of people on social media are saying they're telling employees to take down displays that show violent video games, specifically shooters, and as well as any movies and hunting videos, I guess so. So anyway, and they're taking this action out of respect for the incidents of the past week. But again, the action that they, I guess a lot of people expected them to take. I almost said should take, but who knows? Company can do whatever it wants. But what a lot of people expected them to take was basically saying, well, we're no longer going to sell firearms. They're going to follow Dick's Sporting Goods and a few others, and just say we're no longer going to sell firearms. And we're just not going to be an outlet for that anymore, and that kind of thing. And people sort of expected something like that, and then they got this, and so they, Walmart's in, even more trouble than usual in sort of dealing with that. So Walmart, you're losing. Sorry. Who's losing is, I don't know. I guess either FedEx or Amazon is losing on this one because they're breaking up. Breaking up is hard to do, but they're breaking up, and basically. Amazon's going to rely on UPS, DHL, and its own network of delivery capabilities. It's got its own fleet of cargo planes, delivery trucks, local drivers. So it's pulling away from FedEx and going to sort of run things on its own, which is kind of interesting. Amazon, I think a lot of the big companies are scared of Amazon, right? The fact that they have a giant cloud processing platform, Amazon's AWS. FedEx is probably, more than a little scared of them because of their own, fleet of delivery, vehicles and those kind of things competing with FedEx. And that's probably what's driving some of that stuff, themselves. So sellers are kind of caught in the middle of this whole thing. I guess the sellers are probably losing more than anything on this because they're trying to figure out what they had to figure out how to fulfill items within the current system, which is no longer going to include FedEx, and it's going to basically just leave UPS for an option, and that could certainly be a problem for them. So anyway, there's quite a lot of discussion going on over the last couple of days on this one, but you may want to check out. There's a story in modernretail.com that is pretty decent on that. Oh, who else is losing this week is Barney's. Good old luxury retailer Barney's. They have filed for bankruptcy, and they're closing 15 locations. The closure will leave the retailer with 7 stores, 2 in New York City, locations in Beverly Hills, San Francisco, Boston, and 2 Barney's warehouse stores. So they're filing for bankruptcy. They're the latest retailer to shift bankruptcy protection and just seek bankruptcy protection and shutter stores amid what Business Insider calls a consumer shift to online shopping. Kind of interesting thing to watch. If you watch the retail space, quite a bit. It's interesting to watch. Again, folks like Apple kind of raise their hand and say, "Wow, our stores are more profitable than ever." So. We're not worried about a consumer shift to online shopping. We just do it better than everybody else. And so our stores are like a huge profit center for our company. See, that's what's hard when you try to when you're a journalist and you try to draw a conclusion, based on data. You better make sure that everybody's included in the set, right? Because very easily there's a couple of stores that are defying expectations and doing great, and they're like, well, our stuff could be sold online too, but it's not. And people still go to our stores, and we maintain very profitable stores. So anyway, interesting. That's what I say, but Barney's is definitely losing. And my last story is that nearly half of Americans own some sort of digital assistant, according to a recent survey. The number of voice-activated assistants used worldwide could rise from 2.5 billion in 2018 to 8 billion in 2023, according to Juniper. So 48% of respondents in the U.S. owned a digital assistant, and 33% plan to buy one within the next 3 years. And the firm found that 69% of voice assistant owners use their devices every single day. There were 4 voice assistants that were the most widely recognized: Amazon's Echo, Alphabet Google Home, whatever that is, Apple's HomePod. I also haven't heard of that. And Facebook's Portal, which is the thing they advertised over the holidays quite a bit, especially during football season. Man, you couldn't turn on a football game without a stupid Facebook Portal ad, popping in there. And I mean, they advertised hard during football season, right? That's probably why I heard of that one and not the rest of them, except for Amazon's Echo because of all the privacy concerns with Alexa and all that. That's all I'm saying. Amazon and Google have the largest percentage of the smart speaker market. Amazon controls 61% of the market, and Google ranks second with 24% of the share. It's kind of interesting. The next thing is going to be, and if you're a marketer, you're going to hear this. People are going to say, well, how can we get our marketing messages into people's digital assistants if they're using those for everything? And that's where you want to just stop them and say, we're not going to do anything weird, not going to do anything creepy, and we're going to. But if there's a way to penetrate into digital assistants that's not in a weird, creepy way, then that could be something that we look at. That might be a good future topic for the show. Is to what marketers out there are trying to make the most of all these digital assistants out there. Shopping helpers. Well, that's who's winning and losing this week. You guys are tuned to May the Best Brand Win on Intertalk Media. Come on back. I'm going to give you a few tips on how to give them what they really want. See you.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on InterTalkRadio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Hey everybody, happy Friday. You are tuned to May the Best Brand Win on Intertalk Media, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. I am Scott, your host. We're hanging out with Paul. We're talking about winning and losing. Quite a vast array of winning and losing this week. Paul, what did you like? What stood out to you this week?
Coffee. Need coffee. Don't know who's winning. Don't know who's losing. I'm losing. I have no coffee.
Get that man some coffee. Intertalk Radio, man.
Yeah.
You guys do the Keurig cups, do you?
No. We moved on to just regular. I'm not crazy about the Keurig cups.
Yeah, me either. They create like a huge landfill issue, right?
Yeah,
and,
landfill.
You know what I do now? I've eliminated all. I would give you my coffee secret. I buy cold brew coffee at the store in like the in the container, and then I just throw it in the microwave and I heat that sucker up, and it's awesome.
I should try that. I'm not big on microwaving, but just to heat it up, that might be easy. Normally at home I do Turkish coffee. That's the best. That's the ticket.
That's pretty good. All right, so what'd you think? So then coffee and a donut. You like the Krispy Kreme Reese's Peanut Butter Cup donuts?
Sure. That sounds
You're in on that?
Yeah.
Dude, the photos of those were so good. I was like, that is marketing genius right there. Just show me a photo and tell me when you got them, and I'll be there.
You're an easy man to satisfy. Easy,
yeah. Like I said, human beings are simpler creatures than people think they are. We will, if you examine your own behavior really closely, you'll notice that you're doing what you want to be doing pretty much all the time,
Ladies, if you're listening, pay attention. If you want to get with Scott Robertson, just get him a peanut butter Krispy Kreme donut and take him off your mailing list, and he'll be yours for life.
There you go. Exactly. So true. So true. Or don't send me foot care emails.
Oh yeah.
Just scratching my head on that going. And the thing about that is that CVS knows what I buy. They know what you buy. They send you a list back of stuff that you buy. They could so easily just say, here's the last 3 things you bought. They're on sale. I don't know, something.
How do you feel about those monstrous receipts that they're basically
Oh my God.
memes?
You ever see the viral video of the guy that made his entire blinds out of those receipts?
Yeah.
And they're like 7 feet tall blinds.
I'm starting to see a bunch of creative projects like that.
It was awesome. I was like, that is the greatest thing. He mounted all of his CVS receipts and created blinds.
Or I saw one where a guy chops down like a giant pine tree, and then the caption says that this tree is 150 years old, and it gave its life to make one CVS receipt.
One CVS receipt, yeah, exactly. One. It will be one receipt. It's so true. CVS. I think CVS is kind of a victim of that marketing automation mentality. Somebody in CVS's marketing department convinced them that their customers want to receive multiple emails every single day from them. And if they do that, they're going to be able to increase sales. But no one from the actual marketing department raised their hand and said, if we do this, there's a percentage of people that are going to just, first of all, when you get the same email from people every single day, you just start to, it's not special. You just kind of, you don't even regard it anymore.
Why did you give CVS your email in the first place?
I know, right? I'm part of the loyalty program, so I can, I don't know.
Well, there you go.
Be harassed about foot care products, I guess. That's the plan. Well, cool. That's what we're talking about this week on the show. We're talking about how to give them what they really want. And I've got a few tips for you guys out there in Radio Land. The first thing is, spend time actually thinking about this subject and working on it. When I start with a new client, we do messaging work, and we spend 15 to 20 hours working on the message. And people are like, well, that's a lot of time to just be working on the message. It's like the message is the most important thing. That's like an archer telling you and says, I have a target that I'm trying to hit, but I'm going to spend 15 or 20 hours working on the perfect arrow so that when I hit it, it's going to penetrate and it's going to stick in there. Right? It's like the arrow is everything. It is absolutely everything. So spend time thinking about it, working on it. Not enough people do that. There's so much garbage messaging out there that just has no story. And that is why I get emails that are just about price. If your story is just about price, you have no story left. You have no story. Apple doesn't ever talk about price. You can't even friggin' find the price on Apple stuff. It's so buried. I mean, they don't even discuss price when it's necessary to discuss price. They're like, you'll buy it. We know you buy it. I mean, you're not going to go against yourself. We know you're going to buy it. So why even squabble about price? Just give us your credit card and shut up. That's kind of their mentality with all their marketing. It has been for a long time. So my point is to give people what they really want. Really, you have to spend a lot of time thinking about it. In these messaging sessions, we dig into people's, to the psyche of the target customer and say, what are they thinking? What are they feeling? Who are these people? What do we think they want? Oh, well, we don't really know. We didn't really do any research. You can't do research on this. This isn't researchable stuff. There isn't anybody that's ever going to tell you the truth. If you pay them $100 each, they wouldn't tell you the truth because they don't want you to know the truth. And that is the truth. So anyway, spend ample time working on this stuff. Tip number 2, which I hit a little bit just now, but don't even bother asking them about this level of stuff. If they are connected to it at all in their minds, they would never tell you. They would never tell you what they're really thinking and what they really want. That's why people give so many BS answers on surveys. And they say things like, well, what's the most important thing to you, when choosing let's say, choosing a mail carrier or, a package carrier like UPS or FedEx. And people say, oh, it's got to be cost effective. It's got to save me time. It's got to be time and money kind of thing. And then they come back with the conclusion and say, well, it's going to be time and money. It probably has nothing to do with those things. It probably, it could be a million other things, but it's probably not just that surface level stuff that they're telling you, And as a marketer, as you grow and evolve, and as you do things like focus groups and read marketing surveys and stuff, it will just become really clear to you that you're not getting the truth. You're not getting the full truth. Maybe you're getting like a surface level kind of answer, but you're not really getting the full truth. So, don't buy that stuff. Don't bother asking people about that stuff. My third tip is don't ever let a laundry list of marketing tactics take the place of a solid strategy designed to accomplish something. Both of those are two completely different things. And this is my problem with marketing automation. I've seen like these marketing automation, programs where they're like, well, we'll send 2 emails per day for these people, and the people that respond to those, we'll send a different email to them, and then when they respond to this, then we can send out another message in this. And they don't ever say this question: what if people don't want those emails? What if people get pissed off at us in the midway of us sending this glorious email marketing strategy and realize, good God, why am I getting so many emails from these people? What the hell is going on here? This is why you can't just do like a laundry list of stuff. You can't say, well, we send out this email on the 15th and we're going to do this press release and we're going to do this and these kind of things. That's not marketing. That's a whole list of crap that somebody has to do. Marketing is the part where you listen to the market and you hear what they're trying to say. You're developing something that is going to be, meet that need, that deep, powerful need better than anyone else has done it in the market. And then you reach out when it's appropriate to that person to try to construct a relationship, because you know that they're out trying to solve that problem and you have that solution, and you can create a strong relationship, right? Now, what I just said, that is a marketing strategy. Having a laundry list of stuff that needs to go out is a laundry list of stuff that needs to go out, okay? Those things are not even remotely similar. So don't ever let the laundry list take the place of an actual strategy that's actually designed to accomplish something. And it happens all the time. I mean, you folks out there in the marketing world, I mean, you know that you can look down your to-do list. And I don't know if that comes from because marketing just needs to justify its job, and just says, well, we got to send something out, otherwise it doesn't look like we're doing any work here. And it doesn't look, we got a better chance of selling stuff if we hit people, 20 times than if we hit them with 5. Well, ask Apple if that's the case. Ask Apple how many emails it takes for them to sell. Because the answer is 1, and 1 a month. Apple has a very appropriate schedule of communicating with people. Everybody needs to, get in the classroom and learn from Apple. Examine all of their marketing tactics. Look at when they do them, why they do them, what they're trying to do, those kind of things. They always have a plan for what they're trying to accomplish, right? And that's very Steve Jobs-esque kind of thinking right there. So again, not to beat it into the ground, but that's what I want to say is that giving people what they really want has nothing to do with getting what you want, which is, hitting them over the head with a message like a baseball bat until they just bleed out on you. That's not cool. Tip number 4, test things, make changes, and then test them again. Marketing is always in the laboratory. I always look at it that way. Bands are really good at this. Bands are great at this. You ever put something, you ever design your set, for an audience, and you're like, wow, this song's kind of upbeat and everything. It's a good thing to open with. We got this really good finale type closer. That's a really good closing kind of thing. Then we kind of want to, an ebb and flow. We want to have like a slow song, here about 3/4 of the way through and that kind of thing. And then, and then you play that set and then you talk about it after the show and say, yeah, that really worked as a good opener, or man, that didn't work at all as the opener, or man, I can't believe nobody danced to that one, or or wow, can you believe that everybody was, really liked that finale song and they wanted that. What if we did this? That kind of thing. Bands are extremely good at listening and seeing what the feedback is from people, right? A lot of times they're working on tips, right? So we are we're bringing in information and saying, okay, that worked, that didn't. Next time we're going to lead with this because that kind of worked, and then we're going to try that for a while. And like I said, we used to do Billie Jean by Michael Jackson in our 80s set, but then we noticed around the time of the Neverland Ranch documentary coming out on Netflix that people stopped dancing to that song, and they started kind of being turned off by the Michael Jackson song. And we noticed that a couple of times, and we said, well, that's not our problem. We're moving on to something else. We're going to throw in Casey and the Sunshine Band right here or something. And sure enough, people stay on the dance floor and that kind of thing, so test things, bringing it back to your marketing. You send something out, You're looking at your open rate. You're looking what comments you got. You're looking what engage. If you're doing a social post, what type of engagement are we getting? Then you make changes, and then you're testing it again. And just because something works, now in this window of time and that kind of thing, it's not a guarantee that it's always going to work, or those kind of things. You always kind of have to think of your job in marketing as if we are sort of in the laboratory, right? And I think if you do that, you're going to be giving people what they really want. At the very least, you're going to be listening to what they really want. At the exercise that we talked about at the top of the show, where I went through my email list, none of those people give a crap about what I want. They don't know me. that, musician's friend doesn't care what I want. They are about themselves. Remember, we talk sometimes about the organization's needs versus the audience's needs. This is a marketer. You have to put the needs of the customer in front of your own needs. If you do it right, it's a win-win. The customer gets what they want. And of course, the customer getting what they want is the path to you getting what you want. But, just sending me an email about 20, 30, 40% off and that kind of stuff, that's lazy. That's lazy. You're not talking about what I want. You're not talking about what I need. There's no story there. There's nothing that I can opt into. You didn't tell me I was good looking. You didn't say I looked great in those pants. You didn't say anything from me that worked for me, right? You're all about you and your selfish crap and what you want to sell me and that kind of thing. And customers are too damn smart for it. They're too damn smart and they're going to figure it out. So don't do that. Musician's friend. I like Musician's Friend. I do. If you guys are listening, I like you guys. You send too damn many emails and you need to actually think before you send them. Okay? Here's a quote from me to you. Think before you send. If you have a marketing automation robot that's out there sending stuff, unplug that thing, put a human being in charge of it for a while and say, are we thinking about what we're sending people? Are we deepening relationships with people or are we pissing people off? Are people on their radio show talking about what morons we are right now? Because I am. I'm talking about what a moron you guys are right now. And that's what I think, right? I'm still your customer, but stop it. You know what I'm saying? Number 5, tip 5, have fun with what you're doing. When you are having fun, the audience is having fun with you. And it is much easier to connect and engage. And some of the best things that we talk about on winning on this show are the fact that people are having fun. The team at Burger King must be having, has a great time messing with McDonald's. The team at Wendy's has a great time messing with McDonald's. McDonald's has a great time ignoring those people and just being huge and being McDonald's. But whatever you are and whatever you're doing in your space, make sure you're having fun with it. Marketing is supposed to be fun, and it's much easier to connect and engage that way. So what have we learned? We learned that despite marketing's amazing simplicity, there remains a huge disconnect from the quality work we should be doing as a profession and the giant smoking pile of hot garbage that we see out there on a daily basis. Our profession can and we must do better. When we do, we're going to be able to achieve greater things than we ever thought possible. And that's it for me this week. We'll see you next week with a brand new show. Rock and roll. Later. Bye-bye. You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?